Hello, welcome to Clarkston Unknown. I'm Heidi Warrington, and today is our Back to School edition. We have Clarkston area youth assistants with us, and our special guests are Lauren Kloss and John Nicholson. Hello, welcome, and thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having us.
Can you tell me a little bit about your role and description at Clarkston area youth assistants?
Sure, my name is Lauren Kloss, and I am the caseworker for Clarkston area youth assistants. And I've been in the Clarkston area for 6 years.
Excellent. And John, you're the treasurer?
Good afternoon. Yes, my name is John Nicholson. I've been with Clarkston Area Youth Assistants for 6 years now. I'm an executive board member and the treasurer. I grew up my entire life in Clarkston, but now reside up north.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for making the trek, both of you,
No
today.
problem.
Yeah. So we'll dig right in and get started with what was the founding principle, and how did Clarkston area youth assistants get started?
So actually, youth assistance in general is part of Oakland County Youth Assistance. So it's part of a larger organization in the entire county. And it started in 1953 in Hazel Park, when the superintendent of Hazel Park Schools met with the probate court at the time, one of the probate court judges. They got together and they said, hey, there's a lot of kids coming through the court system on issues that are very preventable, so let's make a program. And so that's how they developed youth assistance, starting in Hazel Park. And it's this beautiful blend of a partnership of Oakland County, now it's the Circuit Court Family Division, is one of the main sponsors, as well as the local municipalities and local school districts. So these three main sponsoring bodies, intergovernmental sponsorship, they work together to really help support and establish youth assistance in each school district throughout Oakland County. So Clarkston was established in 1961. So this is our 60th anniversary. So we are very excited to be celebrating 60 years in the community. And what's great about the youth assistance program is, with the three main sponsors in place, they all have a role to play in supporting us. So the court provides the casework staff, so like myself and my supervisor and our department chief. We're part of the Oakland County Circuit Court Family Division. And then from there, the local sponsors, here in Clarkston, we have Clarkston Community Schools, Independence Township, Springfield Township, and the City of the Village of Clarkston. And those local sponsors support us by providing some funding for our operational expenses, as well as other in-kind services to us, like our office space, for example, is in Sashabaw Middle School, and that's provided to us as an in-kind support from the school district. We also have other partnerships with the townships and the Parks and Rec Department for our camp scholarships and things like that. And so with that sponsorship in place, with all the three different bodies supporting us, we have then two branches of services. One is the casework side of things, and that's more of my role, working with individual families and casework services, working with them on, maybe connecting with resources, working on specific needs or concerns they have. I do more skill building type of counseling with families. I work with kids on accountability assignments. I work with, again, just helping parents, maybe different tips and strategies and ideas with parents and parent support. So that's kind of casework in a nutshell. But then the other branch of services that we have are our community programs, which are run by volunteers. And those include family education, mentoring, Mentors Plus, homework club, skill building scholarships, camp scholarships, youth recognition, and our Pinwheels for Prevention program.
That's excellent. So now that it's your 60th anniversary, is there your standard Pinwheel program? Is there going to be, some sort of large festivity around that with the 60th anniversary, and any celebratory community event that possibly Independence Township members could participate in or possibly donate to?
Well, actually, now that the year is getting close to being over, we definitely realize that we have a lot of work to do to publicize our 60th year anniversary. A lot of the committee members within the different programs that Lauren mentioned are working really hard in whatever program that they are running, showcasing our 6 years in Clarkston this year.
I know it's always fun seeing all the pinwheels in everybody's front yards, and so that's an excellent program that you have.
That program has grown significantly over the last 3 years with one in particular board member, Judy Parnes. She does a phenomenal job running that program every year, and every year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So yeah, it is definitely nice to see all those pinwheels in April.
Could you share how maybe some of the Independence Township members could get involved in the pinwheel program and what they could do to support or the different levels that they can participate in? I know that there's a $50 level, $20 level, different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The Pinwheels program is definitely seeking more volunteers as we continue to grow that program out in 2021 and 22. There's always an opportunity to plant a pinwheel garden in your business or within your home. And if you would like to reach out to the Facebook page, that'd probably be the best way to reach Judy and her committee.
Oh, that's fantastic. So
And our website as well.
And our website.
And that's in April, correct? You guys have
April.
that sent? Okay, so we have plenty of time to participate, right?
Yep.
In that, great. All right, so when you see the pinwheels coming out, and you can either pick them up at the library, or you can have them shipped to your home, from what I understand.
I believe that's how they did it this year. Yep.
It's fantastic. So whatever works for, that family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and what's great about the Pinwheels program, it's actually part of a larger nationwide campaign about how these pinwheels remind us about being kind and welcoming and really helping kids feel safe in the community. It's all about preventing things like child abuse and maltreatment of children in all its forms. So the Pinwheels for Prevention program, like all the rest of our programs, really fit within our mission, which is to help strengthen youth and families, and we want to prevent any issues from occurring down the road, such as delinquency, abuse, and neglect, and other things. We really focus on strengthening families. So the Pinwheels Committee has really worked hard on putting a lot of messaging out there about how these pinwheels are not just these pretty blue pinwheels spinning in your yard, but really there's a meaning behind them with, hey, these remind us that we can be kind to our kids in our community. We can help them feel safe. Every person in our community has a role to play to help prevent kids from being treated in any negative way. We can, any act of kindness can go a long way. You never know how your little act of kindness can really make a huge impact. And so, the committee's worked really hard on getting bookmarks out there with the messaging about the pinwheels and what they represent. And we made new garden signs this year, new lawn signs to go along with the pinwheel gardens about what that pinwheel really represents and what it really means. So it's making those pinwheels much more interactive and meaningful.
So, when we think of a pinwheel, we think almost like a symbolism of, youth, right? Youth and something whimsical and the spirit of that, and then also can transverse into something like, like the wind in your sails type of, thought process that would go with that. So can you share a little bit more about the significance of the pinwheel and how it relates to youth?
Yes, exactly. I think you hit it right on the head that, the pinwheels are very whimsical, right? And it just reminds us how childhood should be filled with happiness, hope, and just be carefree, right? And that, each child deserves a childhood like that.
Right, full of pinwheels, right?
Yes.
That's fantastic. So you've got a lot of programs, 60 years worth of strong community programs that are both involved with the school and outside of the school, including summer camp that's based right here in Baycourt, and this is where we're at, basically in the carriage house area of Baycourt. And there's a little history. There used to be Boy Scout camps here, and Independence Township basically moved in, cleaned the park up, and it's beautiful. We've got our wooden structure. Looks like events are held here. We've got a nice area, and this is also where Clarkston Area Youth Assistance holds their summer camp. Now, the summer camp is just one of their several robust programs that they have in the community, and Lauren would like to tell us a little bit more about some highlighted programs she'd like to share with Independence Township so we can know more about Clarkston Area Youth Assistance.
Yes, yep. So in addition to the camp scholarships where we can send kids to day camp or overnight camp in the summertime, we also provide skill building scholarships, and John is part of the committee that helps review those scholarship applications as they come in. And so with both scholarship programs, it's for families that income qualify and are in between the ages of 5 to 17. And as long as they live within the school district of Clarkston, they can apply to receive one of these scholarships. So with the skill building scholarships, those are for really any extracurricular activity you can think of. We've done
Drivers training, we've done kitty kicker soccer, we've done Chiefs football, we've done a lot of different activities. So as long as the child fits within that age range and income qualifies, we definitely would like the viewers to go and take an opportunity to look at what services we provide for the skill building and submit an application.
Yeah, they can even go toward tutoring if a child needs individual tutoring services. It could be, sport, like school-related activities directly, or
Yeah.
even just community-based?
We had a guitar lesson just recently. We had someone that wanted to learn how to play the guitar, so
We've done swim lessons, karate. I mean, it's a variety of
done pretty
activities
much
for sure.
everything.
I think my favorite part about that skill building is that it's individualized. So much around education and certain community programs are a cookie cutter, like one size fits all. Now, what you're saying is that this is skill building, so it's whatever that skill is for that individual child. Guitar lessons, tutoring, swimming, music lessons, whatever it is, right? And so this is going to build that skill for that child and boost their self-esteem or whatever it is that they need to go to work on or they'd like to improve, including but not limited to football, karate. And I like that because it allows that child to build on what they need to versus this is the program for all the students that you need to fit into this box. And I think this is where we need to move more into individualized, I want to say care because I'm a nurse, but individualized, just services for all the youth in the community because they are individual, and the more they get recognized as individuals, and then that they all have something to contribute, and they have something of value, and I think that's probably one of my favorite programs with Clarkston Youth Assistance because it's whatever works for them.
So exactly, that's one thing I really love about youth assistance in general is, again, we're all about strengthening youth and families, right? So skill building is definitely one piece of that, and helping kids build on their strengths and boosting that self-esteem, boosting those strengths, really giving them more of a passion, and something to strive after, and it can really help prevent a lot of things, right? If they have like a focus and a passion and building on those strengths, I mean, they can really go far with that path.
And it's a pathway for success because we've seen in our annual meetings, we've had people who have been recipients of our skill building scholarships or any of one of our number of programs come in and say how much the skill building event impacted their life or made them do something different, or camp, they became a counselor. There's just a lot of different opportunities. And I was thinking while we were talking about this, there's not been many, if at all any, that I can actually think of that we've actually declined a skill building opportunity. Yeah, so as long as the family income qualifies and the funds are available, then definitely we usually say yes. Right. We want the kids to have a good time. We want them to explore what options exist, and we don't want to be the roadblock to anyone not having access to those skill buildings.
And all a parent or guardian could do would go to the website, get an application,
Yep.
fit the qualifications, and send it in.
Yep.
It's very simple. The application's one page.
Yep. And then we just ask that they also include income information and verification of their residency, and then just information about the activity that they're wanting to get involved in.
That's fantastic. So tell me a little bit about your other programs that you have. I know you wanted to talk about casework, and then a few other, summer camp and some of the recognition programs, wherever you'd like to start. You can.
Sure.
We'll go with casework?
Yeah, I can dive into casework more. So I did mention a little bit, kind of a snapshot of some of the things I do, but what I think is really important to highlight is how casework is very individualized to that particular family. And I get referrals from all over the community. A lot of it's from school employees, like the school counselors, social workers, and administrators, principals, assistant principals, deans, things like that. But I do get some from parents. I get some from other community agencies, or even just any concerned member of the community can make a referral for casework services. I do get some from the police officers too. And so being prevention, it's such a huge range in the types of families that I see for casework. A lot of it is for prevention. That's the majority of my caseload every single year is prevention. And so usually that's including, so much that could be under prevention from, hey, this kiddo just needs help boosting some self-esteem, or maybe they're struggling in school with a few things, or maybe the family's just new to the area and they just need resources and they need to know what's around and help connecting them with the right things that they need. Sometimes prevention's working on things like coping skills, maybe especially as, the pandemic and all the different feelings that have come up with issues with the pandemic, working with families on different coping skills and ways to maybe manage remote learning versus being back in school, and dealing with friends and peers and relationships and family relationships and all sorts of things. So, so prevention encompasses a lot. And then I do get some kids who are referred, like if they got in trouble at school. So maybe it's like a school suspension, and so the principal might say, okay, you know what, you're supposed to be suspended for 5 days for this issue. I'm gonna reduce it down to 3 if you go and participate at youth assistance. And so they send the referral to me, and then I work with the family, and they get a reduced suspension as long as they're participating. And so I work with them on maybe some accountability assignments. So they might do maybe like an essay to reflect on what they are learning from the situation, what mistakes they made, what choices could have been worse, could have been better, things like that. Or they might do maybe community service in the community to help give back to the community. Maybe they'll watch a video that's related to whatever that issue or concern was. And then I also do get police-related referrals too. So we call those police diversions. And in those situations, the child did something that was illegal, unfortunately. Maybe it was, say, theft from a store or something. And so the police were involved, and they decide, you know what, we're gonna send this student to youth assistance and divert them away from the formal court system, because we feel like they could get steered in the right direction here and not end up in formal court. And so then I work with them again with the more accountability side of things, doing different activities that are all focused on helping them learn their lessons from the mistakes. I never look at the accountability assignments as check marks, like, oh, you just have to do this, this, and this. And no. It's very focused on what that child needs the most and what's gonna fit them the best to help them learn so that they can start heading in a different direction so that they don't end up in the formal court system one day or something worse. That's my heart in it, is I just want these kids to learn and grow from their mistakes. And I mean, they're all great kids. I never look at any of them as like a bad kid at all. They're all great kids and great strengths and great potential. And so it's just working with them on those specific concerns and strengthening them and getting them connected with the right resources and the right activities to complete to help them learn and grow and move in a positive direction.
So with the casework, it can be anything from a new child at school that's maybe had a difficult time, return to in-person school anxieties of the previous virtual to now in-person, any emotional, concerns that a child might have, all the way from police diversion, moving them away from the very, sub-therapeutic court environment, because it isn't very therapeutic,
No,
So
yep, I don't do therapy.
If they in that court area, but if you can possibly work with that youth and build on some skills that they're already that they can work on staying out of that legal system, that's ultimately better for that youth. And so it's not one certain way, not one size fits all for the casework, and it is really for anyone that's one of your biggest referral bases, right? So it's teachers, parents, police, anyone can refer and get additional support from yourself or part of the team.
Exactly. Yep. And and I don't do therapy, like you just mentioned. Yeah. So, but if I am working with a child or a family that needs something that's beyond what I could do, beyond just those basic skill building type counseling, then I would refer them to the right resources and get them connected with therapy and get them connected with a psychiatrist or whatever services they need to help address, like if there's mental health concerns going on, if this anxiety is beyond just a few meetings with me to work on coping skills and strategies, right? Or if there's, just other mental health concerns, maybe there's trauma history and I can recognize that and, okay, it's beyond what I could work with. I definitely will do that assessment and get them referred and work with them on getting connected to the right place, for sure. But yes, it's very wide ranging. A lot of people think like, oh, youth assistance casework, that's just for the kids who are getting in trouble. And that's not true. It's a very, it's a piece of what I do, right? Working with that that part of the population, but there's still so many more kids that are not even close to any risk of any court involvement or getting in trouble or anything like that. Again, it's just working with strengthening families and kids. So another piece of it too is that parent support part of it. I work with a lot of parents on just parenting ideas, strategies, resources that are out there, coming up with maybe behavior contracts or plans to, different things to try in the home to help with whatever's going on with, their child, and helping to support them in that way too.
Yeah, exactly. Wide-ranging, and it's not focused on, problematic matters, and that also, really is a great transition into your recognition program. So when there's been a success and a well-being of themselves or others, there's a recognition program. We'd like to share a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So every year, at the beginning of the year, we start reaching out to the schools and to the principals and to the teachers and asking them for referrals for our youth recognition program, which is usually held in April. It's one of my absolute favorite events, something that I hold near and dear to my heart. We go to every school within the district, and the students are usually referred by a teacher or a principal. Last year, even though we're in the middle of a pandemic, we actually still did reach over 60 kids that were able to have a positive affirmation written about them, and also given a booklet basically that has all of the positive affirmations in them and a certificate for being nominated for youth recognition. Typically the program's held at Clarkston, well, it's the junior high now, which was the old high school. And the year before the pandemic, we had over 300 people or close to 400 people in the auditorium for these kids. Obviously with last year being different than any other year, it was a little scaled back, but we still were able to reach over 60 kids, and it's been an absolutely phenomenal program. A lot of press on it in the paper, in the Clarkston News. And Judy Parnes, also one of our board members, runs that program, same woman that runs Pinwheels, and she does everything in her power to make that program absolutely magical for the kids.
Yeah, it's so special to see and hear all the great things that these kids have done. And it's all focused on promoting well-being, either in themselves with personal growth or looking out for the well-being of others and showing concern for the well-being of others. So we hear so many stories of we've had, I remember one high school girl a couple years ago, she would write little notes of kindness to just random kids in the lunchroom. She didn't even know these kids, and she would just write this little note of kindness and would spread it around the lunchroom, and she got recognized for that, Personal growth, we've had so many kids that, over the course of the year have really grown in their academics, or maybe they were really shy in the beginning of the year, and then they've really come out of their shell, and now they're a leader in the classroom, or just showing all these acts of kindness and this volunteerism and all these great things that these kids are doing in this community right in our backyard to really make Clarkston such an awesome, special, wonderful place for the well-being of everybody. I think, so this past year, 2021, we still recognized, I think it was 66 kids. And we couldn't do the big in-person ceremony like we were hoping and we were trying to plan. And the numbers shifted with COVID, unfortunately. So, but the committee was great and working with the schools, and the school principals were wonderful in helping to make this happen. What they did was individual school ceremonies at each school building. And so the principals really helped put that together to have either kind of a combination of in-person and virtual, or just in-person or just virtual, a little small-scale ceremony for the kids in their building. And it was really great, especially when the ones, they had a virtual option, because then myself and Judy could attend virtually, parents could attend virtually, and we could still hear and see all these kids getting recognized for how they're contributing to Clarkston in all these positive ways.
Oh, that's fantastic. It sounds like it coincides directly with your Pinwheel program as well, so it's all kind of happening in the spring.
Yes,
right?
yes,
So
it's a very busy time in the spring.
Yes. The teams that run Pinwheels and youth recognition are very busy in the spring, so it keeps them on their toes.
Oh, that's fantastic. So with all the families that are watching, teachers, students, where could you direct them to get more information about volunteering with Clarkston Area Youth Assistance? If anyone's interested in providing any financial support or donations, where would they go?
We would like to direct them directly to our website, which is www.caya-mi.org. or they could also check out our Facebook page.
Excellent, where they get forms about youth recognition, any skill building, casework requests, anything of the sort, and more information about the Pinwheel program and any other family services. And you also have a little bit of education on there, which is great for parents and family, which is, I learned a little bit today about some of the up and coming challenges that youth have, which we can talk about on another, episode. But I wanted to thank you all for your time and for sharing the robust programs that you have with Clarkston Area Youth Assistance. I know as being a parent in Clarkston that it's absolutely refreshing to know that there's this support for children, and it's for everyone. There's something for it's not for a certain population, or it's not for, someone that's in trouble or anything like that, that it's for parents, it's for families, and it's for children, and there's a lot of recognition and awareness that goes along with it, and primary prevention is key. Right? We want to prevent anything happen. We don't want to have anything happen, and this is where we need to target all our efforts for health, well-being, and for children. So acknowledge you all for your work, and thank you for being on Clarkston Unknown, and wish you the next 40 years to celebrate your 100-year anniversary with Youth Assistance. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Independence Township Parks and Rec, the Senior Center, and all of the staff at Bay Court for letting us use your facility today. Clarkston Area Youth Assistance for donating their time to the television show, and I'd also like to thank the Independence Township Board of Trustees.